So welcome to I Am Genesis Podcast. I am your host, Cheryl, and if you are listening to us on streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts, make sure you share. And if you're tuning in on YouTube, make sure you hit your notification button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also share this podcast episode with someone who you think would greatly benefit from it. So last month, I released my first book titled I Am Worth Discovering, a 30-day journey. And oftentimes we spend so much time discovering new people, new places, new things, new food, and we neglect checking in to discover ourselves and discovering who am I now after the breakup? Who am I now after the divorce? Who am I now that I'm a mom? Who am I now that I'm a dad? Who am I now after the bankruptcy or after the promotion, after the highs and lows of life? So I pose the same questions to you. Who are you now, and fill in the blank? Because the fourth quarter of 2021 is what felt to be one of the worst quarters or the worst seasons in my life, as I experienced what I'd like to call compound grief or compound loss to people that was extremely close to me. Not by physical death, but by sudden, abrupt departures that was unexplainable, unpredictable, and highly unexpected. And as a result, it threw me into an intense level of confusion as I was grieving the loss of them while also trying to untangle the mystery of it all. Fast forward to fall of 2022, I realized that after all of the work that I put in the midst of late 2021 and the fall of 2022, I had to get back to me. I had to get back to who is Cheryl now. And how do I do that in the first place? And where do I start? And I realized that I have to find the worth in discovering me again. I have to go back and start digging out who am I now after being in a dark season for almost a year. And I further realized that if I don't take time to discover who Cheryl is now after this dark season that lasted nearly a full year, I would lose sight of not only who I am now, but who I've grown to become as a result of what has happened. Good, bad, ugly, indifferent. I have to figure out and go into discovery mode of who am I now. Because the blows of life actually shape us and misshape us from our original form, which buries our worth, it buries our value. It buries our gift. And if we're not careful, we will view ourselves from the distorted lens of what life has done to us instead of what life has done for us. And oftentimes, we can't see what life has done for us until we come back to self, check in on self by discovering self. It's truly a mindset transformation first that has to take place. So I titled my first book, I Am Worth Discovering, because I'm truly worth it. And you're worth it too. And when I was writing my book and coming up with the title of my book, I didn't realize the power in the word that I specifically chose until a couple of days ago. And the word discovering has the suffix of ing, and that ing signifies forming continuously, meaning we are all continually discovering ourselves. There is never a destination. And when you're discovering you, you're continuously learning and discovering new stages of you, new stages of life, which means you have to surrender to what you thought you knew so that you can embrace the learning curve of now. And it brought me to this. Miles Monroe says, no matter how much you may learn, achieve, accumulate, or accomplish, if it all dies with you, then you are a generational failure. As a result, I'm sharing with the world what I've learned with the worth in discovering me, what I've achieved as a result of choosing to begin discovering me, and what I've accomplished by discovering me, because I didn't want the value of that to die with me. To take it a step further, a few months ago during a group call, this leader shared that seeds belong in the ground, not in the grave. And when I take value to the grave, I've robbed my generation and the generations after me. So I kept pushing my pen, continuing to write so that I can share the value in I Am Worth Discovering to so many people. So I challenge you to accept this challenge in saying, I am worth discovering, and you owe it to yourself to go into self-discovery mode so that you can pull out all of the value and worth that is still left in you that life has buried. But I promise you, the value and worth is still there. Love y'all.